Behind the glamour of classic Hollywood lies a history filled with secrets and whispers. The romantic heroes we saw on screen often lived up to their roles off-screen, embodying the wildest claims of Hollywood excess. Today, we delve into an era where the studio system desperately tried to conceal the private lives of its stars. However, some actors accumulated romantic histories so extensive they became the stuff of legend. We are talking about the 12 classic Hollywood actors who, according to their own claims and biographers' documented accounts, were involved with women in the hundreds. From Errol Flynn and Frank Sinatra to Clark Gable and Warren Beatty, the romantic records of these infamous playboys are staggering. We will strictly focus on historical gossip and claims found in published memoirs, highlighting their notorious public image and the culture of old Hollywood scandals. Stay tuned as we uncover the most talked-about private lives in cinematic history. Actor number 1, Errol Flynn. If you are making a list about Hollywood conquests, you must start with the man who invented the reputation, Errol Flynn. Known as the dashing star of swashbucklers like Captain Blood and the Adventures of Robin Hood, Flynn's on-screen daring was nothing compared to his real life. He cultivated an image of a restless adventurer, but behind the scenes, he was Hollywood's most notorious playboy. Flynn himself made the incredible, self-proclaimed claim in his infamous autobiography, My Wicked, Wicked Ways, that his sexual partners numbered not just in the hundreds, but potentially in the thousands. While this number is often widely disputed, his reputation as a true hedonist is historically undisputed. Biographers frequently cite his wild parties at his home, which he famously nicknamed Cirrhosis by the Sea, symbolizing his life of excess. He was consistently the center of media storms, including a notorious statutory rape trial in 1942. Although he was ultimately acquitted, this scandal only cemented his public image as a dangerous, irresistible rogue, a man whose off-screen life was far more dramatic than any film role he ever played. Actor number 2, Frank Sinatra. Next on our list is an entertainment icon whose fame transcended Hollywood, music, and the Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra. Sinatra, known to the world as Old Blue Eyes, or the Chairman, possessed an explosive blend of charisma, power, and volatile emotion that made him absolutely irresistible to women. He wasn't just a star, he was an institution, and his romantic life was as legendary and as chaotic as his career. Sinatra was married 4 times, most notably to the tempestuous Ava Gardner. However, his list of lovers stretched far beyond his wives. Biographers and close associates have often claimed that Sinatra's relationships, ranging from intense, brief affairs with starlets and socialites to enduring long-term commitments, easily numbered in the high hundreds. The power he wielded in Hollywood and Las Vegas gave him access few others enjoyed. According to Kitty Kelly's controversial, yet heavily detailed biography, the scale of Sinatra's conquests was truly astonishing, painting him as a man who rarely spent a night alone. His relentless romantic pursuits were an integral part of his tough, powerful image. Sinatra defined the ruthless pursuit of pleasure in classic Hollywood, making him a necessary inclusion when discussing the era's most prolific romantic figures. Actor number 3, Clark Gable, the King of Hollywood. No list detailing Hollywood's most prolific lovers is complete without Clark Gable, a man whose rugged charm earned him the undisputed title, the King of Hollywood. Gable's appeal was universal, defined by a magnetic blend of confidence and raw, effortless masculinity. On screen, he made female leads swoon, and in real life, he possessed a relentless charisma that resulted in a legendary romantic history. Gable was married 5 times, but the number of his non-marital affairs is where the claims truly soar. Studio biographers and historians frequently detail his relationships with countless women, particularly his glamorous co-stars like Joan Crawford and Loretta Young. MGM, the studio that controlled his career, had to work overtime to manage his tumultuous private life, covering up scandals to protect their most valuable asset. The sheer volume of women who fell for Gable, combined with the power he held over the studio, confirms the claims that his list of partners easily ran into the high hundreds throughout his career. Gable was the quintessential alpha male of the era. His relationships, whether short-lived or enduring, established him as the romantic benchmark against which all other leading men were measured. He wasn't just a star, he was the star, and his private conquests were treated like part of his crown. Actor number 4, Warren Beatty, the modern Adonis. While his prime era slightly edges past the strict golden age, the scale of Warren Beatty's romantic life is so monumental. He is the undisputed heir to the title of Hollywood's greatest lover. His reputation alone merits his high ranking on this list. Beatty possessed an alluring combination of genuine artistic talent, sharp political insight, and devastating charm, making him a magnet for the world's most glamorous women. His list of confirmed romantic partners reads like a who's who of music, film, and fashion icons, including Madonna, Julie Christie, Diane Keaton, and many others. The claims surrounding Beatty are perhaps the most sensational in Hollywood history. The famed biographer Peter Biskind, in his book on Beatty, claimed that the actor had slept with approximately 12,775 women over his lifetime, not counting daytime quickies, drive-bys, casual encounters, and so on. While Beatty himself has strongly disputed this astronomical figure as ridiculous, the fact that a serious biographer felt compelled to make such a public calculation speaks volumes about his pervasive reputation. No other actor in the late classic era became so defined by his dating history. Beatty's nonstop romantic pursuits, chronicled endlessly by the media, truly symbolized the relentless hedonism of a Hollywood star who had it all. Actor number 5, Tony Curtis, the matinee idol with 6 wives. Our 5th entry is the strikingly handsome actor who defined the matinee idol aesthetic of the 1950s, Tony Curtis. Curtis achieved massive stardom with films like Sweet Smell of Success and Some Like It Hot. His chiseled good looks and undeniable charm made him one of Hollywood's most desired leading men, leading to a famously turbulent private life. Curtis was married an extraordinary 6 times, which alone hints at the scale of his romantic adventures. However, the true breadth of his conquests became public knowledge through his candid memoirs, particularly American Prince. In his writings, Curtis openly detailed a prolific romantic history, claiming hundreds of partners throughout his career, often utilizing his star status for access. One of his most famous relationships was his tumultuous marriage to Janet Leigh, a union that was frequently overshadowed by his numerous reported affairs. He also sensationally claimed to have been involved with his co-star, Marilyn Monroe, during the filming of Some Like It Hot. Tony Curtis's turbulent pursuit of romance was a central feature of his persona, confirming his reputation as one of the most persistent and successful playboys of the mid-20th century studio system. His own published words ensure his place among those who slept with claimed hundreds of women. Actor number 6, John Barrymore, the great profile and the great libertine. Halfway through our list, we must step back into the silent and early sound eras to discuss one of the original Hollywood rebels and libertines, John Barrymore. Part of the legendary Barrymore acting dynasty, John was known as the Great Profile for his strikingly handsome features and magnetic presence on both stage and screen. However, his talent was matched only by his gargantuan appetite for life successes. Barrymore was married 4 times, but his offstage reputation as a relentless, passionate womanizer was legendary even by 1920 standards. His affairs were rampant and often publicly scandalous, cementing the Barrymore name as synonymous with romantic recklessness. Biographies frequently detail his notorious behavior, which included heavy drinking and hosting wild, nonstop parties at his estate, which gave him ample opportunity for countless brief and intense encounters. This environment fueled claims that his romantic partners numbered well into the hundreds across his flamboyant career. While his talent was immense, his commitment to hedonism overshadowed it. John Barrymore's pursuit of women was as dramatic and unrelenting as his on-screen Hamlet, making him one of the true, defining champions of classic Hollywood's extreme romantic lifestyle. Actor number 7, Mickey Rooney, the boy next door, the man of 8 wives. For our 7th actor, we examine the shocking contrast between the public image and the private reality of Mickey Rooney. As one of Hollywood's biggest stars of the 1930s and 40s, Rooney was the embodiment of the wholesome American boy in the beloved Andy Hardy series. Yet, once he shed his teen image, his personal life exploded into a relentless, chaotic pursuit of romance. Rooney holds the notorious distinction of being married an astonishing 8 times, more than anyone else on this list. This constant cycling through wives and numerous reported affairs with co-stars and starlets forms the basis of the Hundred's claim. His first marriage to Ava Gardner, one of the most beautiful women in the world, was tumultuous and brief, setting the tone for a romantic life defined by passion, drama, and immense volume. Biographers detail that his fame and emotional intensity led to a continuous stream of romantic engagements. Mickey Rooney's life was a testament to the fast-paced, high-stakes romantic whirl of the studio era. His multiple attempts at finding lasting love, combined with his persistent off-screen liaisons, solidify his place as one of the most prolific and romantically turbulent stars in classic Hollywood history. Actor number 8. Gary Cooper, the strong, silent lover. Our 8th entry is the legendary embodiment of American masculinity, Gary Cooper. Known as the strong, silent type, Cooper projected an image of reserved integrity, yet his private life was a whirlwind of secret romance and enduring passion. Despite being married to his wife, Veronica, for nearly 3 decades, Cooper's immense star power and quiet charm made him one of Hollywood's most successful and persistent womanizers. His reserved public persona stood in sharp contrast to the turbulent reality of his private affairs. Biographies consistently detail his long list of high-profile relationships, often conducted discreetly behind the scenes. These included sensational affairs with major stars like Clara Bow, Marlene Dietrich, and later, the much younger Patricia Neal. These relationships were not just brief flings. Some were intense, years-long commitments that nearly broke his marriage. The constant stream of women drawn to his unique, understated appeal, combined with the sheer duration of his career, means that his private ledger of romantic encounters easily ran into the hundreds. Gary Cooper proved that even the quietest stars could lead the loudest romantic lives. His hidden conquests ensure his reputation as a formidable romantic figure of the Golden Age. Actor number 9, Robert Mitchum, the reigning rebel. Our 9th entry brings us to the king of the anti-hero aesthetic, Robert Mitchum. Known for his perpetually half-lidded eyes and a dangerous, laid-back charm, Mitchum cultivated a powerful on-screen persona that translated directly to his tumultuous private life. Mitchum was the epitome of the Hollywood rebel who simply refused to play by the rules. His indifference to consequences extended fully to his romantic life. Despite being married to his wife, Dorothy, for over 50 years, his long marriage was constantly tested by his numerous and often public affairs. His rebellious image, punctuated by scandals like his notorious marijuana bust, only seemed to increase his appeal. Biographers and historians detail that Mitchum rarely denied his womanizing. Instead, he embraced his bad boy reputation, leading to a continuous and high-volume stream of romantic encounters. For Mitchum, romantic pursuit was simply part of his hedonistic, no-regrets lifestyle. His reputation for living life outside the lines and attracting countless women because of it firmly secures his position as one of classic Hollywood's most prolific and unapologetic romantics, easily fulfilling the claims of hundreds of conquests. Actor number 10, Humphrey Bogart, the cynical romantic. Our 10th entry is the cinematic icon who perfected the cynical romantic tough guy, Humphrey Bogart. Though his legacy is forever tied to the enduring love he shared with Lauren Bacall, his romantic life before their famous union was marked by volatility, volume, and turbulence. Bogart's path to stardom was long and filled with romantic chaos. He was married 4 times. It is his first 3 marriages, particularly his highly publicized and explosively dramatic 3rd marriage to actress Mayo Method, that fueled the reputation behind the Hundred's claim. During his formative years in theater and his early rise in Hollywood, Bogart possessed an irresistible, dangerous edge that drew countless women to him. Biographers detail his often messy, rapidly succeeding relationships, which defined the emotional turmoil of his pre-Bacall era. This period of his life involved a high volume of intense engagements, as he searched for stability while rising to fame. It was only after meeting Bacall that his relentless romantic pursuit ceased. However, the sheer number of relationships, marriages, and affairs he accumulated during his first 2 decades in the spotlight solidifies Humphrey Bogart's standing as one of the most relentlessly involved romantic figures of his generation. Actor number 11. James Dean, The Life That Burned Too Bright. Our penultimate actor is a legend whose intense, magnetic presence defined a generation of teenage rebellion. James Dean. What makes his inclusion on this list so remarkable is not the length of his career, but the sheer density of his romantic encounters within his tragically short life. Dean's fame was meteoric, and his emotional fragility combined with his intense method acting style made him irresistible. Biographers frequently detail that his romantic and sexual life was nonstop, operating at the same breakneck pace as the rest of his existence. Crucially, Dean's romantic appeal extended beyond one gender. Historians and sources often document his bisexuality, meaning his pool of partners included both men and women from the acting, modeling, and artistic worlds he inhabited. This expanded his romantic scope significantly. In the brief few years he was truly famous, Dean was known to move rapidly from one intense relationship to the next. The constant, high volume of his engagements in New York and Hollywood, as detailed in several key biographies, leads to the claim that even in his limited time, the total number of his conquests easily reached the hundreds mark. His romantic life, like his driving, was fast, fearless, and ultimately legendary. Actor number 12. Jack Nicholson, the unapologetic champion of excess. Our final entry, though slightly later than the strict golden age, is perhaps the ultimate symbol of the relentless Hollywood Casanova, Jack Nicholson. His multi-decade career and consistent romantic reputation earn him the final spot on this infamous list. Nicholson established himself as the wild-card anti-hero, possessing a unique, rebellious charm that made him irresistible to successive generations of leading women. He embraced his image as a passionate icon of hedonism, setting the standard for romantic excess well into the modern era. His romantic life was defined by its sustained intensity and massive volume. While his decades-long, tumultuous relationship with actress Angelica Houston is well documented, this commitment was famously punctuated by countless other affairs and flings. Biographers and Hollywood insiders consistently detail that Nicholson's romantic partners over his long career numbered far into the hundreds. His legendary status was not just built on his 3 Oscars, but on the fact that he was one of the few stars who never hid his appetite for women. His unapologetic acceptance of his playboy role cemented his reputation as the final, enduring champion of high-volume romantic pursuit in Hollywood history.